What's going on, folks? Welcome to the bar. We have waited a long 3 weeks for the newest chapter of Vigilantes, and the wait is finally over. So, if you haven't read Chapter 89, be sure to read it and head on back to get the full effect. Additionally, the reception to my new bar has been overwhelming. I think it'll probably stick around for a little while. And also, a shout out to everyone who came out to my Extra Life stream for charity. We ended up raising over $1,100. It's absolutely amazing. But we're here to talk about Vigilantes today, so let's get out of the rain and grab ourselves a drink.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Alrighty, so before we tackle Chapter 89, first things first, if you love Vigilantes and My Hero Academia content, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you can do your part and help keep the lights on here at the bar. Okay, so my review of Chapter 89. Now, bear with me here, I can't use as many manga panels as I used to. So, the chapter starts off with the melee that started from Chapter 88 continuing. Mostly because Mirko is continuing to be a fightin' fool. Oh, also, I'm gonna keep calling her Mirko because someone told me that she's named after Mirko Krokop, and I remember like 10-15 years ago on YouTube, I used to watch old videos of him when he was fighting for Pride in Japan. Now, if you don't know what Pride is, I can't believe I'm talking about MMA right now, but it's a lot different from UFC. You could straight up kick somebody in the face while they were down on their knees, and much like Mirko Krokop had a phrase saying right kick, hospital, left kick, morgue, or cemetery, one of the two. Either way, don't get kicked by Mirko Krokop's left leg. But yeah, this definitely translates to her fighting style. I mean, Mirko is kicking the shit out of everybody nearby. But, well, yeah, there's a battle royale breaking out, it doesn't stop the plot from moving forward. We see that All For One has begun to pump gas into the facility. Now, this gas is causing everybody's quirks in the immediate area to go like out of control, and people have no idea what's going on, but what I think is this is like All For One trying to cherry pick what quirks he wants to steal. I mean, this could be the moment where we see potential No-Moose quirks and their original users. Like, it's a fire sale, and all he has to do is just start swiping them up. But the one thing that I haven't pointed out is how All For One is going about trying to steal these quirks. What's stated by O'Clock after using, Overclock to see what's going on is that he sees a black mist appear and then a hand reaches out, to which then the person's quirk just disappears or turns off. Now, this particular phrase right here, it kind of leads me to believe that right now, Shirakumo is definitely being groomed to become that perfect Nomu, maybe like a few others. I mean, if this flashback is exactly 12 years ago, that makes Aizawa like, what, 19, 20? Which could possibly mean that this arc takes place like 3 years after the Shirakumo arc. But back to the story, cause Knuckle Duster saves Mirko from having her quirk stolen, and then he lands back with Rappa and tells them, look, you're both on level with me here. I'm a pro hero, I need your help getting the fuck out of here. And if you do, I'll cover for you both. And as such, he deputizes them. But if anything, this particular scene tells us a wealth of things. One being that he's a high enough ranking hero that he can temporarily deputize people. Also, him trying to cover for Mirko further helps me believe that she's only a second year. And like they said in My Hero Academia, it was a very rare occasion for a bunch of first years to have their provisional licenses. I mean, we hardly see the year 2 kids at UA. The only kids that we've seen outside of 1A and 1B has been the big 3. But before the plan is even executed, we get a nice little banter between Rappa and Mirko, and Rappa is being downright horrible to the feminist cause, and Mirko responds by just offering him some violence. And this is honestly where I'm just gonna tell the truth right here and right now. This chapter was just kinda meh. Look, I don't know if I might catch some flack for saying that, but I know we can't expect a hugely intellectual conversation from arguably the 2 punchiest people in the My Hero Academia universe. But the damn argument about the punching and kicking, I was literally in O'Clock's shoes in this chapter, and after they're bickering, he just looks at them and is like, huh? I really wasn't paying attention to what you guys were even talking about. But look, I spit out the plan, and if you're scared, let me know now. You guys can go hide, and I'll be back with backup. The thing is, he kind of called the 2 ballsiest people in My Hero Academia cowards, so they instantly say, I'm not scared. And the chapter once again ends from the point of view of All For One and what could possibly be, I'm guessing, Dr. Garaki sending in their top resource to handle O'Clock. But that's how the chapter ended, and yeah, firstly, we are going to talk about this guy. Granted, he happened at the very end of the chapter, but I have to talk about him. On Twitter, I initially thought that their top resource was going to be Shirakumo. I mean, granted, it's been 3 years since he was gone missing, and the Black Mist Warp Gate quirk has just been reappearing. And as I tweeted out my fears for Shirakumo showing up and butchering everyone inside like Obito did when Kakashi killed Rin, a follower of mine going by Tyrannex was like, Dan, dude, don't you think that it could possibly be Hood? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're absolutely right. This guy's wearing a hood, and look at the jawline here and here. They show you a silhouette of this dude on purpose. When revelations like this occur, we have to take a step back and remember the point of view. Remember, this is a flashback arc from the point of view of Tanuma. And the reason why this is happening is because for some reason, the current situation in Vigilantes somehow parallels it. Quirks are being stolen, Trigger, All for One. All of these are leads that Tanuma has been digging up for a very long time. And with number 6 resurgence and defeat, maybe it's time to start thinking about the past and some of the test subjects that they've run into. In the main story, My Hero Academia, when they talked about Hood, the high-end Nomu, they mentioned in passing that the main body was that of a cage fighter, so why can't we assume that this image right here is from the fighting arena? And look folks, I harp on this fact every time that I get a chance to. One of the main integral pieces of Vigilante's existence is that the story doesn't just revolve around Koichi. For the past 4 years, it's been providing backstory to all of our favorite heroes and villains. We got Stain's origin in Vigilantes, we've seen Baby Fat Gum, and we've seen people like Edshot and Best Jeanist earn their rankings. This moment could act as a way to introduce Hood, or his civilian identity at least. When you have characters that are known and just sitting in a pool waiting to be used, all it takes is one idea and Horikoshi being like, yeah, use Rappa, Mirko, and Hood. And I have to think the idea of a mindless quirk monster had to have been developed over time. Nobody just comes up with that idea. I mean, when you think about it, the whole purpose of a Nomu is because All for One knows that over time, people can't be trusted. And in the end, everyone is always going to be out for their own selfish ideals. Look at Dabi. Shiggy is about to die and he's like, nah, fuck that. Fuck the league. It's my time to take the revenge that I want and live the way that I want to. If you have complete dominance and control like All for One has, you never have a traitor on your hands, and you won't have an incident like the 4th user of One for All betraying you and giving a quirk to a new revolutionary instead of you. Nomus are All for One's endgame, and in the beginning of All for One's quest, I bet it started with augmented humans, loading them up with Trigger and mutating their bodies to see if they could accept more than one quirk, and after the inevitable failure, as we've seen, he ups the ante by removing their brains or parts of a brain to whatever body that they want to. Look, maybe after this fight, Hood gets turned into Hood. Shit, just thinking about this in general, if he ever got his hands on One for All and replicated it, or had a bunch of Nomus accept One for All and pass it off, Jesus Christ, All for One could have been ridiculously strong. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Also, now that it's pretty much canon that Mirko and Rappa know one another, I need them to meet up somehow and bang out. I think she still has her legs, right? And as for my overall review for this chapter, it was filled with action. We got to see Mirko kick some serious ass, which, don't get me wrong, if Vigilantes ever gets that anime that we so desperately want, it's gonna be a scene that we hope gets heavily animated to give us some amazing Mirko ass kickery. Especially because we'll probably see her get her arm ripped off before we see her ever fight in Vigilantes on screen. Even so, when it happens, Mirko stands will get even more of her at full capacity. Other than that, the chapter itself still felt kinda short, and while things happened to progress the plot, I feel like more could have happened for a 3-week break, but that is the trend that My Hero Academia Vigilantes sets, and I've said it before that when they come out of a break, usually they're preparing for the next chapter, so chapter 90 I have the feeling is gonna be pretty friggin' tight. Nonetheless, if it means a little bit more exposition and setup for a climax to a flashback arc that we have desperately anticipated, I'm all for it. I miss Knuckle Duster, and it's great to have an arc just to see how ingrained in heroic society that he once was. Heroes and villains alike worked with this dude. But barring any other theories for another video, I think that's where I'm going to stop it for today. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button and spread the word for people to come hang out here at the bar. But other than that, let's shut it down. And one last thing, can someone please tell Spike to stop smoking in the middle of the street? That Dullahan trick from Durarara almost clipped him last week. Alright, I'm out of here. Peace.